Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Robert Rico. Welcome to the crash course for the Pearson VUE product. You're gonna love this. It's gonna help you out tremendously, so check this out. I want you to follow me closely when it comes to these slides that are coming up. We're gonna go over everything. I'm talking everything that you're gonna need to know for that state exam. It's gonna make you comfortable. It's gonna make you so comfortable, you're not gonna believe it. You're gonna go into the state exam and you're gonna say, damn it, I got this. I got this. Why? Because you had Mr. Robert Rico right there in the corner with you. Are you with me? I'm totally rooting for you. I'm going to prepare you. We're going to take this nice and slow, and we're going to make sure we understand every single concept, terms, everything. Now, a lot of this stuff you're already going to remember. A lot of this stuff is going to sound completely familiar to you, all right? Now, let me give you a little bit of backstory on me and why I'm so effective and why I'm going to help you out and how I help you out. You know, I've been in the educational field, approximately 35 years, all right? So I know how to teach. I know how the mind thinks when it comes to absorbing information. So allow me to provide you with my expertise, man, when it comes to education. I've been in the real estate field for about 30 years. Imagine that's a long time. 30 goddamn years, it's a long time. So let me put those two together, my educational background and my real estate background. I'm gonna put those together, I'm gonna put it in a doggone silver platter, and I'm gonna hand it over to you. But you gotta stick with me. If you want this bad enough, you're gonna stick with me from now till the very end. Don't let me lose you. Do not let me lose you. You're gonna focus. We're gonna get this done together. All right? Check this out. I was 21 years old. 21 years old when I got my first teaching gig. 21 years old, I was just a kid. Wasn't even able to grow a mustache yet, right? I was just a kid teaching junior high school in San Diego, right? And I loved that position, and I thought I was gonna be an educator for the rest of my life. Well, as I grew older, I got another position here in Los Angeles, and I became, an educator in Los Angeles. Eventually, I became a counselor here in Los Angeles. And I was making at the time, I don't know, maybe $30,000, if I was lucky, $30,000 a year. My wife and I, we had 3 small children. Life was good. I was making 30 G's a year in the 90s. And I thought, this is it. This is my life. I'm okay with this. I'm comfortable. I'm not making tons of money. But you know what? I had about $1,000 in the bank every month. And I thought, all right, we're good. Living paycheck to paycheck. And I think some of you can probably relate to this. Just getting by, but I was okay. And then I got hurt. I got hurt and I needed knee surgeries, 2 knee surgeries, and I needed back surgery. Hear me out. It was a very depressing time in my life. And my doctor said, listen, you gotta have the back surgery. And I said, I'm not having the back surgery. I'll have the knee surgeries, but I'm not having the back surgery because I was much too young. So he says, listen, man, he says to me, if you don't have the back surgery, I can't let you back in the classroom. And I said, what the hell are you talking about? He says, I can't let you back in the classroom because when you least expect it, your back's gonna go out. And he was right. I'd be talking to you like this, like we're talking now, or like I'm presenting to you now. And before you know it, my back would tweak and I couldn't move. It was the most excruciating pain ever. Doctor was right. So I said, I still can't do the back surgery. I don't want to do the back surgery. I've heard too many horror stories when it came to back surgery. So I said, I am not doing the back surgery. So there went my career in education. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Right? So 2 years of my life, I was massively depressed. I don't know what to do, man, with my life. What am I going to do? So for those 2 years, following that decision from the doctor, I got addicted to the painkillers, which is not a good thing. If you've ever had an addiction, it's hard as hell. Life is not so good because you're not controlling your life, right? Addicted to painkillers. So finally one day I was so depressed and I didn't know what to do with my life anymore. My wife came up to me in one of my major depressive episodes and she says, you gotta do something, man. You gotta change your life. And I said, I'm just tired. I don't know what to do. And she says, what about real estate? And I said, what about it? Well, I had gotten my real estate license about 5 years prior, just for the hell of it. Never thought I'd use it. Just the way you took your classes, I took my classes about 5 years prior, just to have a real estate license, never intended on using it. And she reminded me, you got that doggone real estate license, why don't you utilize it? And I said, damn, that's not a bad idea. I gotta do something with my life. And I told her, listen, why don't we do this? I said, I'll do it if you do it with me. And my wife was all in. She goes, let's do it. So for 10 years, we did real estate together, and it changed our lives. Financially, we met so many people. So socially, we're getting to meet beautiful people with beautiful souls, wanting to help people buy their houses or sell their houses, whatever it is. Changed my life. You know, I went from making $30,000 a year to $30,000 just closing one deal. And if you close one deal a month, you do the math. Yeah, that's a lot of money. It was so much money I was slightly uncomfortable. I was like, I never had this amount of money before, but it changed our life, man. It put us up in a complete different tax bracket. And this could totally happen for you if you do things the right way. Real estate, I get it. Some of you need a change. Changed my life. Changed my life. Well, 10 years after doing real estate with my wife, the back pain didn't get any better. In fact, it got worse. So I finally decided I have to do this. I have to have the back surgery. And I did. In 2012, I had my back surgery, my first back surgery. And that's when I decided, you know what? I really want to get back in the classroom. Hence, we created US Realty Training. And here I am today with you to share with you what I've learned in the past, to share with you the formula to success in real estate, to share with you what you need to know for your state exam. You got it? The state exam, you're one step away. Listen to this. Listen to these words carefully. You're one step away to getting that license and becoming my colleague, right? The minute you get that license, by passing the state exam, which I'm going to help you pass the state exam, you and I will be equals in the real estate field. Meaning my license has no more power than yours, and yours has no more power than mine. They're equal in validity, that we could both go out today and door knock and try to get a client. We could both make calls today and try to get a client. We both start at zero at the starting line when the new day arrives. Pretty cool, huh? To have that potential, to have that opportunity to change your life, yeah, it's a beautiful feeling, all right? So let me share with you my knowledge today. We're gonna start sharing my knowledge today and get you on the right track to pass that state exam. You got it? All right, so those of you here listening to this video, we're gonna go over some Pearson VUE national education. Let me present it to you on a silver platter. Eat it up, soak it in. And if you have to, rewind and watch it again. All right, so let's get started with category one. I'm excited for you. Stay excited. Stick with me. Focus, focus, focus. All right? I'm rooting for you. Don't forget that. Mr. Rico here is rooting for you. We're going to do this together. Here we go. Category one consists of real property characteristics, legal descriptions, and property use. This is approximately 11% of your exam. Got it? Here we go. Classes of property. Ready? A lot of this stuff is fluff, but I need to share it with you so that we can understand the concept. Right? It's just fluff. It's just talk. But this talk, this fluff, will lead us down to the road of the good stuff. So just stick with me. It's part of the puzzle. Right? Here we go. Now, classes of property. Ownership is a fundamental component in real estate. Everybody wants to own a house, right? The two main reasons why most people want to buy property, FYI, two main reasons. Number one, the financial gain. They're hoping that in the future, as the years go by, that there's going to be some profitability at the end of the rainbow. If I hold on to this property that I bought today for $1 million for 10 years, hopefully one day it'll be worth $1.5 million. Hopefully the economy will be kicking ass and 10 years from now it'll be worth $1.5 million and I'll make a hell of a profit. It's the biggest investment mostly. It's the biggest investment for most people, and I don't blame them, right? Who doesn't want to make profit, make money? It's a good retirement system. It's a nice way to save money through your property, right? Through the value of your property. And the other reason is typically that people buy property is what we call the bundle of rights. And I want you to know the bundle of rights. Here we go. First real lesson that I want you to know, and that's the bundle of rights. Now, what the hell is the bundle of rights? Well, think about it. I want you to understand that a $5 bill is a $5 bill. Ready? That's tip number 2 that I'm going to give you today. Tip number 2 is a $5 bill is a $5 bill. In fact, tell you what, that's the only tip I want you to know when it comes to answering questions in real estate. A $5 bill is a $5 bill, and that means it is what it is. It is what it is. Don't overthink something. Study long, study wrong, which means don't overthink it. Doesn't mean not to study. Study your tail off, but don't overthink it. Don't overanalyze. If a question is given to you, I want you to answer it directly without overthinking it. What color is the sky? What color is the sky? The answer should be the sky is blue. Sometimes our brains say, well, it depends on what time of day it is. No, answer the question. What color is the sky? Well, it depends on what time of day it is. We're talking morning or night. Are we talking dawn? Is it raining? No. Listen, the sky is blue. And that's how these questions are addressed when they're, when we see them. It's black and white, man. There's no need for you to overthink it. A $5 bill is a $5 bill. With that being said, let's go with the bundle of rights. The bundle of rights, what is it? Oh, it's a bundle of rights that you have when you own property. That's all it is. It's the bundle that you have when you own a property that you don't have if you're renting property. I have some rights here when I own my property that I wouldn't have these bundle of rights if I was renting. So what are the rights? That's what I want you to know. The important lesson here is what are the rights that you have when you own property? And I want you to think of the acronym UPTEE. I want you to think of the acronym UPTEE, UPTEE. It's right there on your screen, UPTEE. And UPTEE stands for I have the right to use my property any way I want to, my house, my domain, as long as I'm not doing anything illegal. I have the right to possess it. I have the right to possess it. Nobody else. If I'm on title, I'm the only one that has the right to possess it. I can kick people out of my property. I can dismiss anybody from my property if they're not the legal owner. So if I have a buddy over and he's getting a little belligerent, he's had too much to drink, and I don't like the way he's acting, I have the right to say, hey man, hope you had a good time, but I think it's time for you to leave, man. Get out of here. And he says, no, I'm not leaving. No, the hell you're not. I'm calling the cops. You're out of here, buddy. So I have the right to possess it. I have the right to tee. I have the right to transfer it. It's my domain. I'm on title. I'm the legal owner. I have the right to transfer it. What do I mean by transfer it? I have the right to sell it, right? I have the right to give it away if I want. I have the right to will it. I have the right to donate it. It's my property. I can do what I want with it. I can give it away. I have the right to transfer it. Makes sense. The first E, I have the right to encumber it. Now the word encumber, we'll talk about that later. But the word encumber means I have the right to get, second loans on it. I have a right to put baggage on my property. I have the right to put baggage. Now I got to carry this baggage. What does that mean? I have the right to encumber. It means I have the right to get a second loan on it. I have the right to get a second loan on this property. I got to send little Johnny to college. I ain't got no money. I'm a school teacher. I don't make much. And I got to send Johnny to college. It's going to cost, $30,000 a year. He wants to go to one of the greatest schools, and he's a smart kid, and he applied, and he got accepted. That's a good thing, right? What can I do? I have the right to encumber my property. I can go get a home equity loan on my property because my property has equity now. And I can take money out of my house and send Johnny to college just the way he deserves. Got it? So I have the right to encumber my property. I want to put a pool in the backyard. It's going to cost me $30,000 that I don't have, but my house has the equity. So I go pull the money out from the house. I go to the bank and say, hey, man, can I get a home equity loan? Encumber. But now we got to carry that extra payment on this house. A bag full of liens now, full of loans. And the last D is going to be enjoy. I have the right to enjoy it. And there you have it. You got your bundle of rights, which consists of UPTEE. You have the right to use it. You have the right to possess it. You have the right to transfer it. You have the right to encumber it. And you have the right to enjoy it. Now, you don't have those same rights if you're renting, do you? You don't. You have the right to use it. You have the right to possess it if you're on a lease. Sure, you can kick somebody out who's not on the lease. You don't have the right to transfer it. You don't have the right to encumber it. Yeah, but you have the right to enjoy it. So you don't have all the bundle of rights. That being said, we have the right to own property for financial gain, hopefully, and because of the bundle of rights. Now, on the state exam, they might not use the UPTEE, but I want you to know the concepts of use. They might use a different word than use. They might use utilize. For possess, they might use a different word for possess. For T, transfer, they might use, convey, which means to give it away. For E, encumber, they'll probably use encumber. And for E, enjoy, they'll probably use enjoy. But just know the UPTEE, the concept. Use, possess, transfer, encumber, enjoy. Now these are the rights or interest a person has in the thing owned. Bundle of rights. All right, classes of property again. Here we go. All property is either real property or personal property. Here we go. Two key things here I want you to know. We're gonna discuss the difference between real property and personal property. The difference between real and personal, and there's a major difference. And I want you to know the major difference because it's gonna be definitely on your state exam. A lot of you probably already know this, but it'll be a nice refresher. Those of you who don't know this, here we go. Got it? Real property. Let's start off with real property. Real property is immovable by law, which means you can't move it. It ain't going anywhere. It ain't going anywhere. Just a few examples here. Land, you can't move land. It's always there. Trees that are in the ground, planted, they're not going anywhere. They're already there, they're planted. You can't go up to it. I mean, unless you're super strong, you could grab the trunk, but you can't, right? It's there, it's not going anywhere. Buildings, they're not going anywhere. Fences, they're already in the ground, right? They're poled into the ground, if that's a word. They're dug into the ground, fences. They're not going anywhere. Now, the key to knowing what real property is attaching it to the word attached. Real property is attached. Let me say it again. Real property is attached. It's not going anywhere. That's the kicker. And that's where you're going to understand the concept. If something is attached, it typically is real property. A house is attached to the land. A door is attached to the door jamb. A chandelier is attached to the ceiling. Real property. You with me? Let's see what else. A garage door, roll-up door is attached to the house, to the walls. Real property. Let's think, a staircase, part of the house. The banister is attached to the stairs. A built-in shelf is built in to the wall. Real property. Keyword here is attached. Now, when you're selling your house, all this real property is included with the house. You can't unattach something and take it with you unless you let everybody know. Again, real property is attached to the house. Now think about it. Now, rule of thumb is this: the stronger it's attached, the more likely it is real property. The stronger it's attached to the wall, the more likely it's real property. Let's keep going here. Personal property is not attached. Is not permanently attached. It's just there. This mug here, personal property. It's not attached to anything. This keyboard, personal property. It's not attached to anything. A dining room table in a house looks beautiful in the dining room. It's not attached. It's personal property. You can pick it up and take it with you. The chandelier on the ceiling, though, remember that? That's attached. Attached to what? The ceiling. That's not personal. That's real. You got it? It's pretty self-explanatory. A refrigerator. Is it attached? Typically not. It's on wheels. You could take it out. How about a refrigerator that's built in? That's different. That's attached. That's a tricky one. Keyword here is attached. A doghouse. Personal. A bike. Personal. A TV. Personal. Now you get it? Nice and simple. Anything that's real in the house stays with the house. Let's keep going here. Now, property characteristics. Types of real property that are appurtenant or run with the land. Oh, I like that. Types of real property that are appurtenant or run with the land. What does that mean? It means when you buy this property, guess what? You also get something else. It's part of the property. It's part of the property. It pertains to the property. You buy a condo. You buy a condo, right? 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo, beautiful, right? In a metropolitan city near the bars and near all this good stuff, and you're excited, yeah. Well, guess what? Typically, probably, and it'll be in your contract. Now, if you buy this condo up in the penthouse, nice, up in a penthouse, it comes with a parking spot. Oh, because it's 2-bedroom, you get 2 parking spots. Those parking spots run with the land, run with the property. They're appurtenant to the property. Makes sense. You buy a townhouse amongst a bunch of townhouses near the beach. And all these townhouses that are near the beach have the same walkway to get to the sand. That walkway is appurtenant to your townhouse. You have the right to use it. If you live in this complex, if you live amongst all these townhouses, and you're one of the owners, you have the right to use this pathway here to get to the sand. it runs with the land. It means it runs with your property. It makes sense. Got it? So some things run with the land. They're not in the house, but they run with the land because you own the house, because you own the townhouse, because you own the condo. You with me? Good. Easements. These are examples. Easements. Look at your first bullet point there. Easements, water company stock, covenants, and minerals run with the land and do not require a separate conveyance, a separate, say, you know what, I'm going to sell this to you also. It's already a given. It comes with the land. Got it? It all makes sense. If I'm buying this house and there's a well in the backyard and that's where I get my water from, you ain't not going to sell me that well separately. That well comes with the land on the same deed. It makes sense. Got it? Good. Let's keep moving. Improvements are structures built upon the land. Improvements are the foundations, the framing, the roofing, the house, everything included in the house. These are the improvements. You'll notice on property tax records, when they're giving a value to a piece of property, right? To 1234 Main Street. The house on 1234 Main Street, they have to assess and put a value to it. But a way to put a value to it is the value of the land and the improvements on the land combined. And the improvements on the land, of course, are the house. In this case, it gets real specific. The foundation, the framing, the roofing, hell, and everything else that's in this house. The 4 bathrooms, the 5 bedrooms, or whatever the heck it is. You got it? So you got the land and you got the improvements. What are the improvements? The house. All right, let's keep on moving. I want to take a quick moment to tell you that you're watching the first video of an 8-video Pearson VUE exam crash course. This is exciting. You can get access to all 8 videos by clicking the link in the comments and description below. This crash course teaches you everything you need to know to pass the national portion of the Pearson VUE exam. What do we cover? I'll tell you what we cover. We cover every category you'll see on the exam in this crash course. Now, when you purchase this program, you get access to the same exact PowerPoint slides that I use to teach the course. Quizzes that test you on what you're learning, and listen to this, you're gonna love this. You also get an ebook study guide that breaks down specific information in more detail. And you can rewatch these videos as many times as you want, over and over and over again. All of this is accessible in your online student portal through our school, US Realty Training. I just love saying that, US Realty Training. You can access your portal on your desktop, on your tablet, or on your phone through our app. That means you can watch these videos on the go and from anywhere, and it's all saved between your devices. Listen to this. This is the most affordable crash course out there on the market today, and you're gonna get the biggest bang out of your buck. Know the program offers you these professionally produced detailed crash course videos like this. You're gonna get tons of resources. It's a no-brainer. And one last thing, get the exam prep package. The exam prep package. Why? Well, because it comes with unlimited practice exams that come with national and state-specific questions, vocabulary flashcards, the ebook study guide, and even more video explanations. With these 2 tools, with these 2 resources, you'll walk into the exam feeling confident, feeling energized, and ready to pass on your very first try. And who the hell doesn't want that? Again, all you have to do is get the crash course videos and the exam prep by clicking the link in the comments or description below. All right, back to the crash course. Now, how do we test if something is real property? Check this out. There's actually a test to test if something is real or personal. Ready? Here we go. And you're gonna see this in your exam. No ifs, ands, or buts, I guarantee it. You're gonna see this in your exam. And it's to use the acronym MARIA. You're actually gonna see this on the exam. They're gonna say, what acronym do we use, right? Or they're gonna say, which of the following is not part of the test for real property? And if there's not a MARIA letter in there, well, that's the one you're gonna pick. That's the one that should not be included, because the best way to test it is through the acronym MARIA. So let's go over the acronym MARIA. The M is for the method of attachment. The method of attachment. And that goes back to the rule I told you. The stronger it's attached to a property, the more likely it is real. Got it? If something is hanging on a wall, a clock, and it's not very solidly attached, it's hanging on a nail, right? Chances are it's personal property. It's not really super attached, is it? It's just kind of hanging there. If something is bolted into the wall, chances are it's real. Stop for a second. Slow it down. The stronger something is attached, the more likely it is real. The method of attachment. That chandelier that's on that ceiling, it's screwed in. It's attached forcefully. It's attached so strong that you can't just yank it off like you could a clock on a nail. And because it's so soundly attached, it's real property. So the method of attachment is important. Number two, the adaptability of the item. If this item was made specifically for this house, specifically for that room, specifically for that window, then it's real property. Let me give you a more specific example. Right, we bought this house and it has a very unusually shaped window in the den, a den that's rectangular, right? I don't know, we'll call it 2 feet by 10 feet window. And they just made this window, right, to get some light into that room. A 2 feet by 10-foot window, beautiful window. And they made some blinds. They had some blinds specially made, special order for this little window here, for this long window. Well, these blinds just became real property. Why? Because the adaptability of the item. It was made for that window. There's not another window like it anywhere else in the world, man. So the adaptability of the item. It was made for this house. It was adapted for this house. Got it? The R, next one, R, relationship of the parties. Right? If you got a tenant and you got a landlord and the tenant says, hey landlord, I'm moving in, thank you, here's my lease signed. FYI, just so you know, I'm gonna attach this to the wall, right? A burglar alarm, a fire alarm, whatever he wants, but he wants to attach it to the wall, and I'm intending on taking it with me. Well, it's understood. It's understood. The landlord will say, yeah, you got it, it's yours. I never had that there. Sure, it's yours. The intention of the party when attaching the item. Same example. Same example. The tenant in this case was intending on using it just for himself. Hey, I'm putting this up because I don't want anybody, breaking into my apartment. And I'm intending on taking it away. Although it's bolted on there and I attached it to the wall, I'm taking it with me. It's completely understood there. And it's an almost relation to number 3, which is a relationship. Relationship, landlord says, yeah, you got it. It ain't mine. Tenant says, good, I'm glad that's understood. 4, intention, it's there just for that particular purpose. Number 5, agreement of parties. Boom. That's a big one there. That's the one there where it's agreed upon in contract. When it's agreed upon in contract. And that's important. When in doubt, write it out. A buyer walks into a house. A buyer sees a TV on the wall, right? He sees a TV on the wall. And he wonders, does that TV come with the house? After all, it is attached to the wall. I wonder if it comes with the wall. And the seller says, you know what, you want it, it's all yours. It's attached, it's an iffy kind of thing. But they both agree, yeah, it's going to stay. Then you put it in the contract. When in doubt, write it in the contract. Simple as that. So if the parties agree that it is real property, yeah, you can have it. Understood. There you have it. So real property fixtures test is the MARIA acronym. M-A-R-I-A, MARIA. What a beautiful name, MARIA. What does it stand for? The method of attachment, the adaptability of the item, the relationship of the parties, the intention of the party when attaching the item, and last but not least, the agreement of the parties, which is the most solid way to tell somebody, yes, it does stay with the property, or no, it does not, I'm taking it with me. All right? But rule of thumb, FYI, again, it goes back to attached, attached, attached. If it's attached, it's real property. All right, here we go. We got a few exceptions here. Look at the very bottom there. I do want you to know this. You are definitely going to see this one on your state exam. The only one that's can be attached and strongly attached and still personal property, which is kind of weird, are trade fixtures. Fixtures that are used in a trade, in a business. Trade fixtures, now the word here trade, meaning for a business, is not real property, even though it's attached. The example would be, a barber, right? A barber business, a haircutting business. And they bolted, 5 swivel chairs to cut people's hair, right? So people walk in and say, hey, can I get a haircut? Yeah, sit over there on that chair there, good. And they get on the chair, right? And they're ready to get their haircut, right? And they're looking good, and they put that thing around their neck and then, cover their body so the hair doesn't get all over them. It looks good, right? Well, listen, the chair was bolted in. So by definition, because it's attached, it would be real property. Anything attached is real property. So by definition, real property. But because this is a trade fixture, it was put there just for this business. Once this business closes down, I'm taking my chair with me because I'm going to open up my business somewhere else. It is considered personal property. Other examples would be here. Look, trade fixtures which are used in commercial properties, either to render services or make products, are always considered personal property. Example would be dental chairs. In this case, I said barbershop chairs, counters, heating units, shelving, or display cabinets used for the occupation. Straightforward. So please remember this. Please remember this, because I know you're going to see it in your state exam. I know you are. Trade fixtures, although attached, and fixtures are typically attached, which means fixtures are typically real. Trade fixtures are not real property. Trade fixtures are personal, meaning the owner says, I'm taking this with me when we close shop. Got it? Booyah. You do. Let's keep on trucking. All right, let's go on to a brand new topic here, which is going to be the descriptions of property. Now, we're not talking about describing the actual house. We're going to talk about how to measure a property and where the legal boundaries are for property. Now, there's typically 3 ways to find out where and how the legal boundaries are. How big the property is, the land itself, where it's located, how it's measured, and all those things. It's confusing as hell. I'll put it up front, it is. So this is going to be the brief introduction to it, and then we're going to get to the good stuff, all right? When it's good stuff and it's important stuff, I'll let you know. But for now, this one here, there's 3 ways, 3 common methods for creating legal descriptions of property. First way is the meets and bounds. The second way is U.S. government survey, and I'm sure you've heard of that before. That's considered sections and townships. That's the one we're going to focus on with your state exam. Sections and townships. And the third is lot and block, which is the most common. But we're going to spend some good time on sections and townships because that's the one there, sections and townships, where you're probably going to get a math question, a math calculation question that you're going to have to figure out. Now, I don't want you to spend too much time on these math calculation questions. Like I recommended before, but it's a long process for this answer, to get to the answer to that question. Don't spend too much time on it because it's got the same value as another question. A question that's difficult, let it be, let it sit, let it simmer, move on, and then you can go back to it and check on it later. Got it? All right, so 3 methods of creating legal descriptions of a property. 1 is meets and bounds. 2 is U.S. government survey, sections and townships. And last but not least, lot and block. Here we go. When dealing with real estate contracts, these land descriptions are the most commonly used to describe a property's location, all right, and its measurement, and how much land is included when you're buying this property. Let's move on. Meets and bounds, used in rural areas where there is no tract map. Meets is the letter of measurements, and bounds is the boundaries. Always return to point of origin using this method, used when extreme accuracy is required. Done. Straightforward. Know a little bit about this. Now, we got U.S. government survey, sections, and townships. This I definitely want you to know. Sections and townships. This forms a grid of imaginary lines to locate land. I'm going to show you a graph in a minute, so it's going to be crystal clear. These lines are drawn every 6 miles. Meridian lines run north-south. Baselines run east-west. Now, how are we going to remember this? Well, baselines, you know it's the base of something, right? It's the base of something, so we know it's at the bottom and it runs this way. And we know this way is east-west. So baselines east-west because it's the base. Meridian lines, think of as middle, right down the middle. Right down the middle, meridian lines run this way, which is what? North-south. Got it? That's the best I can give you for that, to remember that. Baseline runs east-west because it's the base. Meridian lines right down the middle. Got it? They run north-south. Now, take a look at this here. This is where it's all going to make sense when it comes to townships and sections and all that good stuff. This is where you're going to might you're probably gonna get a math calculation question, and you can do it. You can do it once you understand this, you can do it. But again, don't spend too much time on this. If you get one of these early, you might wanna skip it and come back to it later, because it has the same value, again, that question as to all the other ones. I'd rather you do 10 easy questions, 10 questions that you know that take you no time at all to do, than spend 10 minutes on one question. Come back to it at the end. Same value, man. So take a look here. Ready? Here we go. This is a township. This green box is a township. Got it? And in this township, this green box, let's assume it's a town. It's 6 miles by 6 miles, which makes it 36 square miles. Now, each one of these squares here is a section. That's important to know. It's a section. Now look at the red box there. The red box there is one section. And that one section is 1 square mile, which is 1 mile by 1 mile. And then each section, in each one section, it has 640 acres. I want you to know that. It's a given. Just know that one section is 640 acres. And know that one township, one town, has 36 sections. Got it? Now, when it comes to the 640 acres, how much is in 1 acre? Well, 1 acre has 43,560 square feet. Give or take 44,000 square feet. That's how we're gonna break it down. You know what, we have a great video that explains this. And the link is right here. You gotta check out that video. It really in detail explains it. But let's do this again. At the very top, the big one, we got the township. And the township consists of 36 sections, 36 small sections. Each section, about this size, 1 mile by 1 mile, consists of 640 acres. Now each acre, which is even smaller, consists of 43,560 square feet. We went from here to here. Look at the diagram, digest it. Now we know that the meridian line, we know it runs what? The meridian line, the one that's right down the middle, runs northeast. And we know the baseline, it's got to be base, runs east-west. This is a great diagram here, by the way. But watch the video. All right? Township has 36 sections. Each section has 640 acres. Each acre has 43,560 square feet. You got it. Now the math calculation part is they may ask you if you own section number 2 and section number 11, a portion of number 2, let's assume if you own 50% of 2 and you own 50% of number 11, section 11, how many acres do you have? And that's where the math comes in. 50% of the acreage of number 2 would be what? Well, we know number 2 has 640 acres and you're only going to own half of it, so that'll be 320. And you own half of number 11 there, which is right below it. Half of that would also be 320. And you sold, say, half of the half, which is a quarter. That's the type of question you're going to get. The video that's linked to this gives a really good example. Take a look at it. You'll get a lot out of it. But again, when you get a question on this kind of stuff, a calculation question, don't spend too much time on it. But I want you to know the basics. And the basics are, the very basics are, a township consists of 36 sections. 6 miles by 6 miles, 36 sections. One section is 1 square mile with 640 acres. 1 acre is 43,560 square feet. You got this. Let's move on. Hey, it's me again. Have you given any more thought to buying the full program? I mean, geez, you've made it this far into the video. You clearly are enjoying the content. So why not get the entire video program? Put my 30 years in the real estate business to use for you. You can either click around endless YouTube videos and other freebie content, or you can invest in a professionally produced, detailed video program that makes studying quick and easy, just the way we want it. Our exam prep and crash course program is the most affordable program on the market. And you get even more hours of high quality content that you can watch and rewatch. You know what, I'm gonna say it again, and rewatch whatever you want, wherever you want. If you're looking to take the stress, the pressure and the confusion out of studying for the exam, then this is the absolute best option for you. What are you waiting for? I can't recommend it enough. We wanted to make a supremely amazing study option that is affordable for everyone. And we did it. We did it, and here it is. It's waiting for you. Click the link down below in the comments and description section to get the program right now. Come on, you know you want it. All right, are you ready? Let's wrap up this video. Lot and block system, this is the one that's mostly used when selling properties, right? When selling properties, it typically gives us what's called the APN number. The APN number, you got it? And the address, sure. Hey, I'm gonna buy 1234 Main Street. Great, can you be more specific? Sure, they give you the APN number. Think of a car. The car has a license plate, that would be the address, and the car has a VIN number, right? A vehicle identification number. That would be your APN number. Get more specific, right? So you got your address, 1234 Main Street, and you got your APN number. That's the legal description. That's to get real specific as to what property you're buying. And these descriptions, this address and this APN, is always included on any documents when you're selling a property. It has to be, because we want to confirm and make sure that this is the right property we're buying. We want to make sure that the right transfer of property is being made. So we're going to include it on the grant deed, on the quitclaim deed, on the preliminary title report. It all should match up. The address and the APN number. This is what we call the lot and block system. Take a look at the slide there. You'll see that if I was to be selling that yellow shaded section there, that home located there, I will be selling 2727 Talmadge Road, which is also known as, more specifically, APN number 440760003. Beautiful. That's the plat map that's going to help us amongst this neighborhood. We're selling that one right there. That's located right there. And this is the one in your real estate career that's most commonly used. This one right here. And it's nice because it shows exactly where the house is located, right? So you know, yep, this is the house. This is the way the lot is shaped, irregularly shaped. Look at the house right to the above it. It's even more irregularly shaped. All you gotta do is match up the address with the APN number. This is called lot and block system. That's the lot on my block. That's the lot that's on my block. That's the one I own. That piece of lot on my block. Done. Most commonly used. Hey, which one are you selling? Well, I'm selling that one right there. That's my lot on this block. Got it? $5 bill is a $5 bill. Lot and block. The lot on my block. Let's keep going. Public and private land use controls. This is called police power. Now, when we talk about police power, we don't just talk about the actual police, right? The sheriff department or the local police department. We're talking about having not just restrictions, but guidelines when it comes to community, building codes, things of that nature to have a healthy and safe environment. Police power, check out that first bullet point. Government enacted laws that benefit the public's health, safety, and general welfare includes authority over real estate development through, this is important, through zoning, health standards, city planning, street and highway construction. That's what police power is making sure that our community, that our city is safe and sound, right? That everything has its minimum when it comes to development buildings, minimum safety standards when it comes to building new homes, minimum standards for anything that's going to be built that's new. Zoning, important. With the City Planning Commission, that's what they do. They zone every portion of the city. Right? They have agricultural over there, and they're not going to want to have a school near an agricultural zone because you'll have all the manure and stuff of those farms coming into the school. So of course, their job is to make sure everything is safe, and they'll put school zones over there, and they'll put an agricultural zone over there, and they'll put the commercial zone over there, and they'll put the housings over here. It's all beautifully prepared, discussed, based on the general plan of the community of the city. All right? Beautiful. Let's keep on trucking. Eminent domain. That's the power of the government to take private property for public use. That's a good one. I want you to know eminent domain. No eminent domain. No eminent domain. Ready? Here comes the example. Eminent domain. Taking personal property, private property for public use. What am I talking about? Well, the city needs to make a wider freeway. The city population is increasing. Hell, let's talk about LA. The city population is increasing, so we have to make our roadways wider, our freeways wider, right? And if we want to increase the width of a freeway, unfortunately, we have a few houses that are in the way of us increasing the width of this freeway. We got to remove these houses. Well, how are we going to remove them? Somebody owns these houses, right? Well, via eminent domain, the government has the right to take these houses to create a wider freeway. Now, by take, that's the secret word here. Take meaning they have the right to provide the homeowners there with just compensation, fair compensation for their property so they can demolish it, so they can condemn them, take it down to widen the freeway. And if the homeowner says, no, man, I've been living here 50 years, I'm not going anywhere. Well, yeah, you are. Because per the law, eminent domain says we could take private property for public use. We'll be taking an owner's property and they'll be extremely upset. One person will be upset, maybe a family will be upset, but the entire city will say thank you very much and they'll be happy. And that's why they do it. Eminent domain. They make one person happy while the rest of the city who could really utilize that new roadway will be extremely happy. Now, again, they give them what's called fair compensation, so they just about buy them out. And that's the way eminent domain works. Please know that. Condemnation, process where eminent domain is exercised, there you go. Involuntary conversion, a forced transfer of property under condemnation. There it is. That all is under the eminent domain concept. Taking private property for public use, condemning the property, making it happen. Inverse condemnation, private citizens force the government to buy their property due to damage from public work. Now we got the reverse. Example would be an airport freeway gets so large that it causes the homeowner to no longer enjoy their property from the noise. Great example. Hey, listen, I used to love my property, but since you put that new freeway there, I can't enjoy this property anymore. You got to buy me out. I want out of here. I can't take another night sleeping here because I'm not getting any sleep. Inverse condemnation. Hey, now I want to leave this property and I want you to pay me fair compensation because you know what? I'm not enjoying my life here any longer. All right, let's keep on trucking. Focus, focus, focus. Listen to me. Focus, you got this. Listen, you're one step away and then you become my colleague. Hang in there. Here we go. Escheat. Very simple concept. This is the legal procedure of taking somebody's private property and they reverse to the state government because they can't find any heirs of somebody who passed away, from a homeowner who passed away. The government tries and tries and tries to find an heir, somebody who was related to this person who passed away, that had owned this property, and they can't. So the deal is this. Escheat. It almost seems like they're cheating, but they're not cheating. I mean, they tried. That after 5 years, if they can't find anybody to permanently claim the property, the government takes it over. The government, only the state government, may acquire property through escheat, never an individual. Got it? Bottom line, escheat. I want you to know 5 years. State government cannot find any heirs for the previous owner of the property. Nice. Think of the word escheat. Seems like somebody's getting cheated out here, isn't it? No will was left. What do you expect the state to do? They tried their best. They tried their best. All right, private controls, private restrictions placed by the grantor, homeowner association, or developer in a deed or by written agreement. And this is pretty popular in community areas where all the houses look very much the same. We call that cookie cutter houses. They all look very much the same and they're all very much the same color or similarly earth tones or something like that. And per the homeowner association, you can't paint your house pink. Per the homeowner association, you can't paint your house, extravagant colors. It's got to stay earth tone, just like everybody else's. And these are private restrictions. If you live in a particular area, you got to remain similar to all the other homes in that area. CC&Rs, covenants, conditions, and restrictions. They restrict land use in a subdivision. For example, a homeowner must keep their lawn maintained. Yeah? These are private controls, and these are restrictions, again, when you're living in a particular neighborhood, in a particular development, typically a private development, private neighborhood, that will tell you, listen, we want to keep this place spick and span. If you plan on living here, you got to follow these rules, big guy, and you got to follow them. And if not, you're breaking the rules, and that's not good. You can get a warning and this and that, or a fine. But private controls, yeah, there's private restrictions, and I think you understand this. And there are some CC&Rs, which stands for covenants, conditions, and restrictions, and all those covenants, conditions, and restrictions will be given to the owner in writing. Here you are, boom. Read them, sign them, agree to them, and here's your copy. All right. Encumbrances. Oh, this is a good one. Encumbrances. Encumbrances. An encumbrance is anything that limits the way an owner can use their property. I want you to think of an encumbrance as this. Just listen to this. An encumbrance is heavy. It's weight on a house. And by weight, I mean baggage. When you buy a home, typically you get a loan, home loan, right? You get financed from a lender, and you owe them money. You owe them, that loan. Every month you got to give them a payment. So the minute you buy this property, this bag has something in it, and you got to carry it with you for the next 30 years, or the next 15 years, or whatever you decided to have that duration of the loan. But let's assume, for the sake of argument, it's a 30-year typical common loan, 30 years, 360 months of mortgage payments. So you got to carry this with you for 30 years. And if you decide to get a second loan because you want to put a pool in the backyard, right? You want to get a second loan, a secondary loan, you got to put that in the bag. And now you got to carry this with you. And you don't pay your tax liens. You don't pay your taxes, your property taxes. So that becomes a tax lien. That now goes to the bag. This bag is titled encumbrance. An encumbrance is what holds the weight of this house down. Things that are not, in a sense, comfortable to carry with the house, but some of the things that you're carrying with, you volunteer to carry. The homeowner volunteered to carry. They volunteered to carry that first mortgage. They volunteered to carry that second mortgage for that pool in the backyard. They didn't volunteer. It was involuntary to put that tax lien in there, though. So that's an involuntary lien. But that's also in there. So some of the stuff in the bag you want it to, and that's called a voluntary lien, and some of it is involuntary. I don't want it in there. Whether you like it or not, it's going in there, and you got to carry it with you, as long as you own a house. And these are called encumbrances. These are called encumbrances. Easements is an encumbrance. That goes in here. An easement is the right for somebody else to travel through your land to get to their land, to get to their house. Let's assume you own a house and it's in the front on the road, and somebody owns a house on the backside. And the only way they can get to the house on the backside, behind yours, is to run through your land. There's a driveway that was created many, many, many years ago that allows the homeowner in the back to travel that little road to get to his house. But he's got to travel through your land in the front. That's an easement, and that's okay. But it's uncomfortable, and it's inconvenient, and it's, it can get in the way. Put it in the bag. Encumbrance. Encumbrance. Let's take a look here. I want you to know a few things about this easement thing. I want you to know a few things about this easement thing, because you're gonna get tested on easements. Easement is an encumbrance. It's in the bag. The person going in, the homeowner going into the other person's property to get to their property in the back, that person is called a dominant tenement. Dominant. You can't stop them. They're dominant. Think of it that way. Hey, I'm dominant. You can't stop me. I have the right to travel across your land to get to my land. Ha, ha. I am dominant. And the servient tenement is the one that lives in the front and has to serve it up. Yeah, you're right. I can't stop you. I got to serve it up. It's all yours. So a dominant tenement, the landowner whose land receives the benefit of the easement, and the servient tenement, the owner who provides the easement and whose land is being used. The easement for the servient, yeah, in this bag. What do we call this bag? Encumbrances. Another type of encumbrance. You're getting it, aren't you? You're getting it. Encumbrances, homestead exemption. This is the statutory protection of real property used as a home from the claims of creditors up to a certain amount. Homestead exemption, when you hear the word homestead, it's going to make your home steady. If people try to attack your home financially, creditors, with homestead exemption, it's paying a certain fee, you can protect your property, Keep your home steady. Homestead exemption. Homestead. Keep your home steady. $5 bill is what? Yeah, $5 bill. Does not guarantee that a judgment creditor can't force a sale to satisfy a debt. It does assure that in the event of a forced sale, the property owner will get the dollar value of the homestead before the creditor receives payment. So there is some benefit to have a homestead exemption on your property. It keeps your home steady. If not, if anything, it keeps the homeowner a bit happy when something like this does occur. Now let's go back to easements. Easements, there's a few types of easements I want you to know. These are non-money encumbrances, right? Easements are non-money, they're non-financial. An easement is property that's sitting there that's being inconvenienced by somebody else because you're traveling through their land and they have the right to do so. These are called non-financial encumbrances. First one is prescriptive easement. The right to travel over the land of another, similar to adverse possession. We'll talk about that later. Created when used openly, notoriously, continuously for 5 years without the owner's permission. Hostile. That's you prescribing to yourself this easement. You creating an easement on your own. You've been traveling over somebody's land for so long. Let's assume somebody has a huge piece of land and there's a lake on the other side of this land that you continuously go to visit every day because you want to go fishing. And you use their land every day to get across this, to get across their field to get to the fishing pond there. And the owner sees you doing it, using his land. You're walking there with your fishing pole every day. If you do it for 5 years or more, you in a sense have created what's called a prescriptive easement. You're going to prescribe an easement to yourself. You could actually fight that and say, yeah, this has to stay here from now on. Now, sure, the details get a little bit funny there. You got to go to legal court and all that stuff. But yeah, that can happen, a prescriptive easement. Using somebody else's property openly, notoriously, continuously for 5 years minimum without the owner's permission, and you just got yourself an easement that benefits you. Appurtenant easement runs with the land. Buyer has the same rights to the easement when purchasing property. We talked about that. Appurtenant meaning it pertains to the property and it runs with the land. We talked about examples on that. It runs with the land. Your parking spot when you bought that condo, that beach pathway to the sand. Appurtenant comes with the land when you buy the property. When you buy this house, when you buy this condo, guess what? You also get the parking spots and you get that pathway to the sand. Appurtenant. That's the most common, probably common easement that exists. Last but not least, engross. This belongs to an individual that does not necessarily run with the land. Example, an owner allows a neighbor to walk through his yard to reach a nearby park. That's engross. A neighbor who says, yeah, go right ahead. I'll let you do it. That can create an easement also. That they all agree to it. Sure, I'm fine with it. Let's go ahead and do it. Encroachment, just the way it sounds. You're encroaching on somebody else's property. When you build a fence and you go beyond your boundary line, beyond your property line, and you build your fence on somebody else's property, your neighbor's property, you're encroaching on them now. This is the unauthorized intrusion that can reduce its size, value, and limit its use of the person you're encroaching on. The owner is allowed to sue the neighbor to have encroachment removed if within the statute of limitations. If the encroachment violates the neighbor's rights of possession, it is called a trespass. Encroachment, no bueno, amigo. It can cause problems between neighbors. Encroachment, going onto somebody else's land without their permission. You can get sued for it because you are now intruding on their land, and their land now has less square footage. Not good. So it's very important sometimes to get a surveyor to go out there to make sure you're putting your property or your new driveway, your new fence, whatever it may be, make sure you're doing it the right way. Get the right people involved. You don't want to encroach on anybody's land. Not good. All right, that being said, listen, we went over a lot today, a whole bunch. For you to remember it all, hopefully you do. All right, a $5 bill is a $5 bill. Study long, study wrong. What color is the sky? It's blue. Doesn't matter what time of day it is, just go with it. Don't ask a question to the question. And that's the way I want you to take your approach. Take your approach to where you're going to be calm, relax, question, tip. Look at all the answer options, every single one. Although the first one may look appealing and you say, it's got to be this one, take the time to read all of them. Because the real, true, right answer might be C or D. Give yourself a real shot by reviewing all the answer options. In fact, what I want you to do is this. We got some great review questions right up ahead here. I want you to take a look at these review questions. And it's all based on what we just studied. Easements, right? Encroachment, everything we studied, personal property, real property, all that stuff. Review these questions, become a master at these questions, review the correct answer, review the correct answer, review the correct answer, and review the explanation. I want you to put good stuff in your head, the correct answer, and the explanation. Wishing you all the best. We'll see you in the next category. Hey, I hope you enjoyed video 1 of 8 of our Pearson VUE exam crash course. It was great, wasn't it? Remember, when you join our program, you'll get access to all of the videos, our exam prep package, and tons of resources to make sure you pass the exam on the first try. Now, this is the fastest and easiest way to pass the exam and get your real estate license, and I know that's what you want. You know what, in fact, speaking of the exam, I want to recommend something to you. I would recommend you watch this video right here. It's a 25-question Pearson VUE practice exam where I give you multiple choice questions. I'll give you the answer, and last but not least, I'll give you the explanation as to why the answer is what it is. It'll give you a sneak peek of the type of questions you'll see on the exam and in our exam prep package. Good luck to you, happy studying, and I'm rooting for you.